Welcome to aminacademy.com. In basic economics, let us discuss about law of supply and demand. The law of supply and demand combine two fundamental economic principles describing how the changes in a price of a resource, commodity, or product affect its supply and demand. As the price increases, supply rises while demand declines. Conversely, as the price drops, supply constricts while demand grows. Here, this is a basic rule for supply and demand. Here, look at this graph. This is in x-axis. It's a demand, and this is a so the price is the y-axis and quantity is the x-axis. Here, supply increases like price and demand. Supply increases linearly, and same for demand in opposite way it decreases. That means what? Supply increases means demand decrease, vice versa. Here the theory that explains the interaction between the sellers of resource and the buyers for that resources. Here further we'll discuss about law of supply and demand. An interesting aspect of the economy is the demand and supply of a product are interdependent and they are sensitive with respect to the price of that product. The interrelationship between them is given in the figure. It is clear that when there is a decrease in the price of a product, the demand for the product increases and its supply decreases. Also, the product is more in demand and hence the demand of the product increases. At the same time, lowering of the price of the product makes the producers restrained from releasing more quantities of the product in the market. Hence, the supply of the product is decreased. The point of intersection of the supply curve and the demand curve is known as the equilibrium point. Here, the point here is an equilibrium point because demand curves and supply curve meets at a point. As the price corresponds to this point, the quantity of supply is equal to the quantity of the demand. At the point, the quantity of supply is equal to the quantity of the demand. At the price corresponding to this point, the quantity of supply is equal to the quantity of demand. Hence, this point is called the equilibrium point of demand versus supply curve. Factors influencing demand are price of the product, the consumer's income, the price of related goods, the taste of preferences of consumers, the consumers' expectations, the number of consumers in the market. These are some factors affecting supply and demand. The shape of the demand curve is influenced by the following factors: income of the people, prices of related goods, tastes of consumers, and all of them. If the income level of the people increases significantly, then their purchasing power will naturally increase. This would definitely shift the demand curve to the northeast direction. The converse situation will shift the demand curve to the southwest direction. That means what? Actually, income of the people will mostly affect the economy of the even economy of the country also. If, for instance, the price of television sets is lowered drastically, its demand would naturally go up. As a result, the demand for its associated product, namely VCD, and recording players would also increases. Hence, the price of related goods influences the demand of the product. Over a period of time, the preference of the people for a particular product may increase, which in turn will affect the demand. For instance, diabetic people prefer to have sugar-free products. That means if diabetic people are more and more, that number is increased, then uh, they prefer more sugar-free products. If the incidence of diabetes rises naturally, there will be increased demand for sugar-free products. Factors influencing supply. The shape of the supply curve is affected by the following factors: cost of inputs, technology, weather, prices of related goods. If the cost of inputs increases, then naturally the cost of the product will go up. Means production cost is more, then price will be the more, of course. In such a situation, at the prevailing prices of the products, the profit margin per unit will be less. The producers will then reduce the production quantity, which in turn will affect the supply of the product. For instance, if the prices of the fertilizers and cost of the labor are increased significantly in agriculture, the profit margin per bag of paddy will be reduced. So the farmer will reduce the area of cultivation and hence the quantity of supply of paddy will be reduced at the prevailing prices of the paddy. If there is an advancement in technology used in the manufacture of the product in the long run, there will be a reduction of the production cost, of course, because that's combined agriculture, like they are using modern machineries to produce, the cost of production will reduce. This will enable the manufacturer to have a greater profit margin per unit at the prevailing price of the product. Hence, the producers will be tempted to supply more quantity to the market. Weather also, weather also has a direct bearing on the supply of products. For example, demand for woolen products will increase during winter. This means the prices of woolen goods will be increased in winter. So naturally, manufacturers will supply more volume of woolen goods during winter. Again, take the case of television sets. If the price of TV sets is lowered significantly, then its demand would naturally go up. As a result, the demand for associated products like VCDs would also go up. Over a period of time, this will lead to an increase in the price of VCDs, which would result in more supply of VCDs. These are some concepts of law of supply and demand. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.